Anybody want to take a guess what this is? Wrong. This is not a whopper plopper.
我从中国买了这个诱饵，它非常便宜。
Translation: I bought this lure from China. It's very inexpensive.
What we do here is go back.
All right, let's establish something right up front. I'm pretty cheap. When it comes to getting a deal, I'm always looking for one. So I love, and it's no secret, this lure right here. This is the Whopper Plopper 90. I love the Whopper Plopper 110 and the Whopper Plopper 130. I use them all. I'm always looking for something different or something unique. And this year, this fall, I was fishing and I was really getting into using these little poppers because it kind of opened up my, variety of topwater, the places that I could fish, the size and the quantity of fish that I was catching. So I had a great time with some ultralight gear and those poppers. So then I was like, well, I wish they made like a little teeny weeny whopper plopper. And I went on this quest of, first I tried to build one, then I tried to find something that was like one, and I just couldn't really put it together. So my friend was like, well, dude, they've been making those for years. It's called the Torpedo Teeny. And I have to say, it's a pretty cool little lure. It's a tiny topwater lure with the propeller blade on the back, but I don't think it's going to come anywhere close to making the noise that the whopper plopper does. But I used that and I caught some good fish on that. And then I was looking at the torpedoes in general, and those were really kind of cool, but they just get me back to normal topwater stick baits, and it wasn't anything exciting. And then one day I was just kind of cruising around on the website looking for different things. And then I saw these whopper ploppers, or so I thought, for $4.95. And I was like, wait, what is this? And I click on it. So it took me to this site called AliExpress. And I think AliExpress is like our Amazon. It's the Chinese version of Amazon, I think. I didn't do a lot of research, so correct me if I'm wrong. But I think it's just a mass retail ordering site online, and it's based in China. So there's a lot of Chinese lures out there. So I got on and I started looking at this Whopper plopper, or so I thought, but it was actually called the Whopper popper on their site. So they changed it by removing the L. And I know it's probably 100% just a knockoff. But it could be, the factory over there that makes the Whopper plopper for river to sea just said, well, we're going to punch a bunch of these out for ourselves and sell them here. So I don't know if that's the case, but I have to share with you some of the different lures I've been getting from AliExpress. And it comes with a little bit of a caveat. You got to be careful with the hooks, because a lot of these hooks on some of these lures are really, really cheap. And then you have to be careful with delivery time frame. If you need these lures, or you're going to like some kind of bass fishing event, or you're doing anything at all that requires timed shipment, forget about it. It's going to take 3 weeks, probably minimum, to get most of these lures. But at the price savings, it's pretty good. So let me share with you a little bit about this Whopper popper. Okay. And I'll give you some close-up views here in a little while. But first of all, the thing I noticed about this lure when comparing it to a Whopper plopper is that the size is the same. They call it a 90 mm or something like that, 90 millimeters. But the belly or the breast of this lure is not as deep. And I did take it right away and I set it in like a pail of water, and just to see how it sat. And it sits much like the Whopper plopper, a little bit at an angle at the water level. So it looks like it's the same. One thing I did notice, and I'll try to give you a close-up of this as well, this tail section in the real authentic Whopper plopper does not have a lot of play, whereas this one has more play. And as you guys know, if you own Whopper ploppers, that's a definite weak point in this lure when you get stuff wound up inside of there, so it can be a problem. So that could be one issue. But I'm really anxious to get this in the water and give it a try. I paid $6.50. It's on AliExpress, and it's made by a company called All Blue. Comes in a professional looking box, and it's a pretty decent looking build. And the paint job, I have to say, is great. The tail looks exactly the same. I mean, exactly the same. Well, not exactly the same, but it looks really, really close. And I'd have to say this is about as carbon copy as you get. The eyes are like squinty instead of round like the river to sea. But really, it actually feels like a little bit smaller bait. Like it's like a Whopper plopper 80 almost, But some of the other lures that I've been getting out of there, here is like a torpedo knockoff. And this lure is really cool. It's a floating lure, has a little spinny tail. I compare it to like a torpedo body, right? It looks the same as the torpedoes, but it's got a much more detailed finish. They've got the gill plates cut in with raised gill plates, red eyes, and a holographic, paint job on there. And I bought a white one. And inside of these, if I can hold these hooks still, so the hook's really sticky. You can see there's like a BB inside of there. These were $4.50. I mean, that's very inexpensive. And these are VMC hooks. They say so right on the site. And they're really, really, really sharp. Another lure that I got from over there, if I can unhook it out of the box here, because I'm not the neatest organizer, is this little guy. I thought this looked cool. So over in Japan and China, they do a lot of snakehead fishing. And they use a lot of like little tiny frogs and tiny mice. And this thing looks really cool. It's a topwater lure that has a little like wiggle lip. So that mouse is going to sit there and wiggle across the top of the water. And it comes with 3 different style tails with replacement tails. And I got this thing for $6.50. And it's got a very intricate, detailed paint job on it. And it's a really nice looking lure. So all I wanted to do today was just share with a possible find of a way to get some cheap, inexpensive whopper poppers, which are whopper ploppers, and maybe some lures that you don't normally use. And another thing I found for winter baits that are really popular lately, the winter baits lately that have been out, the blade baits that everybody's excited about, they have a ton of those for really, really inexpensive prices, although they're not that much here in the States either. But I would say give that site a cruise. Go to AliExpress, type in fishing lures, and just start strolling through there. And you'll see reviews and you'll see people talk about it. But if this thing pans out, if this whopper popper pans out and actually becomes a viable lure, I mean, think about it. You buy 10 whopper poppers, it's going to cost you $65. If you buy 10 whopper ploppers, it's going to cost you $120, $130. So it's half the price, and I'm all about saving a few bucks. So just wanted to share this with you guys and maybe tip you off to something you might want to look into. I don't know how you feel about knockoffs. I mean, some people might get upset about this and say, hey, that's, taken away from the USA. But, when it comes to couple fishing lures, I don't think I'm going to bring down the economy with 1 or 2 purchases. Give it a look, see what you think, try one out. This one to me, I would call this like color. I'd say this is chubby, the chubby color on the whopper plopper scale. And let me know your thoughts on buying these lures from China, if you think it's a good idea or if you hate it or whatever. Just give me some feedback. I really am excited about these, and I'm going to probably buy a few more from there soon. So we'll see what happens.